It's one of the most famous stories of survival of all time, this time from the deep sea, off the coast of Antarctica.
More than a century ago, Ernest Shackleton set sail from England with the goal of becoming the first explorer to cross the Atlantic, or I should say, to cross Antarctica.
He was trapped in polar ice and sank into the frigid waters of the Antarctic.
Next, a team has located the wreck of Quest,
which sank 107 years ago near Antarctica.
After all these years.
The fact that it's intact at all is amazing.
We were in the Weddell Sea for a month. We were moving up and down, we were surveying the seabed, the temperature was plummeting, we were brushing the snow off ourselves, and then we found it.
You can see the ropes and the rigging. It's as if it sank only yesterday.
Data preservation is unbelievable. You can see the paintwork.
The wood is like a golden brown colour. You can still see the gold lettering on the stern, the brass lettering shining like gold, saying endurance. It just looks like a serviceable vessel to this day.
110 years ago, a daring Irish-born British explorer left the coast of Labrador with an aim to conquer the icy expanse of Antarctica. This brave soul was none other than Sir Ernest Shackleton. Despite his incredible courage, his journey ended tragically when his ship sank into the frigid waters of the Antarctic. Now, 109 years later, something extraordinary has happened. Shackleton's long-lost ship has been discovered, perfectly preserved beneath the ice. In fact, researchers have found some of the strangest things inside it. So, what did they find? What mysteries were lurking in that frozen vessel? Masters of survival. Antarctica is a cruel land, a land like no other. It is a place of extreme cold and harsh conditions. It is a vast, icy desert where temperatures can plummet below -90 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind can howl at speeds exceeding 200 miles per hour. This frozen wilderness, covered in ice sheets that hold about 60% of the world's freshwater, is a land of incredible beauty, but also a place of brutal survival. For most creatures, it is a domain of cruel killing, which only the most resilient and resourceful can hope to endure. In this frozen world, one creature stands out as the master of survival. Weddell seals are amazing animals that have adapted perfectly to life in the icy waters of Antarctica. They can grow up to 11 feet long and weigh between 880 and 1,320 pounds, with females usually being bigger than males. Their thick blubber layer, which can be over 4 inches thick, keeps them warm in freezing temperatures and provides energy when food is scarce. One of the most amazing things about Weddell seals is how long they can stay underwater. They can dive as deep as 2,000 feet and stay underwater for up to 45 minutes, though most of their dives are around 20 minutes. This incredible breath-holding capability is facilitated by several physiological adaptations. Their muscles contain a high amount of myoglobin, which stores oxygen, and they can slow their heart rate to save oxygen while diving. Their blood also has a high number of red blood cells, which allows them to carry more oxygen. But the most impressive thing about these creatures is their hunting ability. Weddell seals are skilled hunters. They mainly eat fish like Antarctic cod and silverfish, as well as squid and other small sea creatures. Their sensitive whiskers can detect the movements of prey in the dark, icy water. With their strong jaws and sharp teeth, they can easily catch and eat their slippery prey. Surviving in Antarctica means more than just finding food, which is why these seals have a unique way of breathing in this icy environment. They keep breathing holes in the sea ice open by using their teeth to scrape away the ice. These holes are crucial because they allow the seals to come up for air. Without them, the seals could be trapped under the ice with no way to breathe. Weddell seals also have a great sense of smell, which helps them stay safe. They can sniff out predators like orcas and leopard seals. It helps them avoid danger. Fascinatingly, these seals also have a social side. They often gather in groups around breathing holes and places where they rest on the ice. Despite the tough conditions, Weddell seals are known for their vocalizations. They use a variety of sounds to communicate with each other, and these sounds can travel long distances underwater, which helps them stay in touch, even when they are far apart. Weddell seals are truly remarkable. They have adapted in so many ways to thrive in the harsh environment of Antarctica. But they are not the only masters of survival here. Have you ever heard about a fish that looks like a crocodile? Icefish. Icefish is another tough creature found in the brutal Antarctic environment. They are pale, almost ghostly, with translucent skin and clear blood. These fish have evolved in ways that defy belief and make them the ultimate masters of survival in the icy waters of Antarctica. Icefish primarily inhabit the freezing, oxygen-rich waters of the Southern Ocean surrounding Antarctica. Their breeding areas are usually in shallow waters, where the ice cover provides some protection from predators. During the breeding season, these fish display fierce protective behaviors. They guard their nests aggressively to make sure their eggs are safe from the constant threat of predators and the harsh environment. In other words, they defend their offspring in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. It is a fight for survival every single day. One of the most bizarre and fascinating features of icefish is their clear blood. Unlike most fish, icefish lack hemoglobin, which is the protein that gives blood its red color and carries oxygen. Instead, their blood is transparent. How do they survive without hemoglobin, you ask? Well, icefish have adapted to extract oxygen directly from the water through their skin and gills, thanks to the oxygen-rich cold waters they inhabit. But that's not all. These fish have another fascinating feature: antifreeze proteins. Yes, icefish produce special proteins that prevent their blood from freezing in the icy waters of Antarctica. These antifreeze proteins bind to ice crystals in their bodies and stop them from growing and causing damage. Icefish also have other incredible adaptations. They have large gills to maximize oxygen intake, and their hearts are significantly larger compared to other fish, which pumps blood more efficiently to make sure that their tissues receive enough oxygen. Their bodies are streamlined and agile, which allows them to easily swim in Antarctic waters. Living in such extreme conditions has made icefish some of the toughest creatures on the planet. They have adapted to not only survive, but thrive in an environment that seems almost impossible to live in. Incredible creatures like the Weddell seals and icefish drive humans to research and explore this uninhabitable place. But when the humans went there to study these animals, they found something on land that they were not expecting at all. So, what did they find during their research? The meteorites. Back in 1912, scientists made an amazing discovery in Antarctica. They found a meteorite from outer space. This find started a hunt for more space rocks, and to date, over 50,000 meteorites have been found on this icy continent. These rocks come from places like the Moon, Mars, and the asteroid belt, and give us a peek into the mysteries of our solar system. But why is Antarctica such a great place to find meteorites? The answer lies in its unique landscape. The continent's vast ice sheets and freezing temperatures help preserve these space rocks. As the ice slowly moves towards the coast, meteorites get trapped and collected in certain areas, making them easier to find. The dark meteorites stand out against the white ice, making them pretty easy to spot. Scientists study these meteorites to uncover secrets about the early solar system. Each meteorite holds clues about what was happening when our solar system was formed over 4.5 billion years ago. By looking at their chemical makeup, researchers can learn about the processes that shaped planets and other celestial bodies. One of the most famous meteorites found in Antarctica is ALH 84001, discovered in 1984 in the Allen Hills region. This Martian meteorite made headlines in 1996 when scientists thought they found signs of ancient microbial life in it. Tiny structures that looked like fossilized bacteria were found, causing a lot of excitement and debate. While the claims are still debated, ALH 84001 remains an important piece in the search for life beyond Earth. Studying meteorites also helps scientists understand the potential threats from space rocks. By knowing more about their composition and behavior, we can better predict and prepare for possible asteroid impacts on Earth. Meteorites are interesting to people worldwide because they are tangible pieces of outer space. They connect us to distant worlds and the mysteries of the universe. Collectors and museums value these space rocks for their rarity and the stories they tell. But meteorites are not the only fascinating thing found in Antarctica. Have you ever heard about sea anemones? Sea anemones. If you don't know what they are, have a look. Sea anemones are creatures that look like underwater flowers but are actually animals. They come in many colors and sizes, and their bodies are covered in stinging tentacles that they use to catch food. While most people think of them in warm, tropical waters, some sea anemones have adapted to live in the icy waters of Antarctica. A truly amazing discovery is the ghost excavator anemones. These unique sea anemones were found living beneath the ice, attached to the underside of the ice shelf. This environment is incredibly harsh, with freezing temperatures and very little light. Despite these tough conditions, ghost excavator anemones thrive, showing just how adaptable life can be. Scientists found these ghost anemones during a research trip where they drilled through the ice to see what was underneath. To their surprise, they found these white, almost transparent anemones hanging out in the dark, clinging to the ice. They survive by catching tiny organisms that float by in the cold, nutrient-rich water with their stinging tentacles. But sea anemones are not the only interesting finds in Antarctica. The continent is like a giant freezer that preserves many ancient secrets. One of the most exciting discoveries is ancient sedimentary DNA found in the seabed around Antarctica. Sedimentary DNA is the genetic material that gets preserved in layers of sediment on the ocean floor. In Antarctica, scientists have found DNA in seabed samples that are thousands of years old. By studying this DNA, they can learn about the organisms that lived in the region long ago. The DNA they found includes material from various marine species like fish, algae, and tiny microorganisms. In 2019, a team from the International Ocean Discovery Program made an unexpected and exciting discovery. While they were mapping the seafloor in the Scotia Sea, which is north of mainland Antarctica, they accidentally collected ancient sedimentary DNA, or sedna, from up to 584 feet below the seabed. This lucky find has opened new doors to understanding the long history of life in these remote oceanic areas. This ancient DNA contains genetic material from diatoms, which are tiny but crucial ocean plants. Some of this DNA is up to 1 million years old, much older than any previously found DNA from the Arctic by 350,000 years. This discovery has given scientists a chance to recreate the ancient ecosystems that once flourished in what are now icy and barren Antarctic waters. But these were the creatures of the past. This area has some rare creatures living in it that are so horrifying that if we see them, we won't believe our eyes. In fact, a mythical creature also lives in this area. Can you guess which one? The deep-sea giant. We are talking about the giant squid. These incredible animals were once thought to be mythical, but they are very real and even more fascinating than legends suggest. Giant squids are truly massive, with some growing up to 46 feet long. They have the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, each up to 12 inches in diameter. These huge eyes help them see in the dark depths of the ocean where they live, allowing them to spot prey and predators. Their tentacles have powerful suckers lined with small, sharp teeth, which makes them formidable hunters of the deep sea. A close relative to the giant squid is the colossal squid, which is even more impressive. Colossal squids can also grow very large, with estimates suggesting they can reach lengths of up to 50 feet. What sets them apart are their tentacles, which have sharp hooks instead of toothed suckers. These hooks are perfect for catching and holding on to large prey. The colossal squid also has an enormous beak, the largest among squids, which it uses to tear apart its victims. This makes it a master predator, lurking in the deep sea and waiting to ambush its prey. The colossal squid is rarely seen by humans because it lives in the dark, cold depths of the ocean, sometimes as deep as 7,200 feet below the surface. This shadowy world is difficult to explore. Despite their size and strength, colossal squids face few natural threats in their deep-sea habitat. However, one of the few predators that can challenge them is the sperm whale. Battles between sperm whales and colossal squids leave scars on the whales, and this provides us with evidence of these epic underwater confrontations. Even with all the amazing sea creatures we have learned about, nothing prepared us for the incredible discovery of Sir Ernest Shackleton's lost ship beneath the ice after more than a century. What exactly did the researchers find there? Ernest Shackleton's expedition. Over 100 years ago, the polar regions were some of the last unexplored places on Earth. One of the most famous explorers of these icy territories was Sir Ernest Shackleton. On December 5, 1914, Shackleton and his crew set sail from South Georgia Island towards Antarctica on their ship, the Endurance. This ship was specially designed to endure the harsh conditions of the polar regions. The crew included scientists and even a stowaway who later became part of the team. As they journeyed deeper into the Weddell Sea, the ice began to thicken and become more dangerous. Despite their efforts, the Endurance got trapped in the ice. The crew tried everything they could to free the ship, using picks and saws, but the ice was too strong. As the Antarctic winter set in, the pressure from the ice began to crush the ship. For months, the crew lived in brutal conditions aboard the trapped ship. They continued hoping the ice would eventually release its grip, but it never did. On October 27, 1915, Shackleton made the tough decision to abandon the Endurance. The ice finally crushed the hull, and the ship sank into the cold Antarctic waters. That was the last day the ship was seen. Now, 109 years later, the remains of the Endurance were finally found. Using advanced technology like remotely operated vehicles and detailed notes from the ship's captain, Frank Worsley, a team from the South African-American icebreaker S.A. Agulhas II located the wreck. Amazingly, the cold Antarctic waters had preserved the wooden structure of the ship very well. Even after all these years, the ship's name was still visible on its stern. Finding the Endurance was a big historical moment. The preserved condition of the ship provided valuable insights into the early days of polar exploration. The extreme cold of Antarctica also preserved many artifacts. One interesting find was an old fruitcake discovered at Cape Adare in a hut used by early explorers. It was the conservators from the Antarctic Heritage Trust who found this fruitcake. Can you believe it? It was a century old, but still, the cake was in good condition due to the freezing temperatures. It was wrapped in waxed paper and stored in a rusty tin. The most surprising thing is that it still smelled surprisingly good. Although the cake looked and smelled okay, no one tried to eat it. Everyone knows its historical value is far more important than its taste. During the expedition, another remarkable find was McKinley's rare old Highland malt whiskey, made in the early 20th century. This whiskey was discovered perfectly preserved in the Antarctic cold. Bottled and shipped to the icy continent by Shackleton's crew, it was intended to keep spirits high during their grueling journey. The extreme cold acted as a natural freezer and maintained the whiskey's condition. This discovery provided the researchers with a fascinating glimpse into the past. Apart from this incredible discovery, scientists found many weird creatures in the Antarctic. The weirdest creatures. Antarctica is home to some of the most bizarre and fascinating creatures on Earth. Beyond the famous penguins and seals, the icy waters and harsh conditions have given rise to unique and strange forms of life. One such creature is Eulogisca gigantea. Eulogisca gigantea is a marine worm that can grow up to 8 inches long and has a segmented body covered with bristle-like structures. These bristles help the worm move and can also serve as a defense mechanism. The most striking feature of Eulogisca gigantea is its head, which can avert or turn inside out, revealing sharp, fearsome jaws. These jaws are used to capture and consume prey, making Eulogisca gigantea a master predator in the deep, dark waters of Antarctica. This worm lives in the icy waters around the continent, often at depths where sunlight barely penetrates. Its unusual appearance and predatory nature make it one of the most intriguing creatures found in the Antarctic region. Another weird creature found in Antarctica is the Yeti crab. Discovered near hydrothermal vents in the icy waters of the Southern Ocean, the Yeti crab, also known as Kiwa hirsuta, is a crustacean that looks quite peculiar. It has long, hairy claws that are covered in filamentous bacteria. These bacteria help detoxify the poisonous minerals emitted by the hydrothermal vents. It allows the Yeti crab to survive in an otherwise deadly environment. The Yeti crab's hairy claws are not just for show. They help in the crab's survival. The bacteria living on the claws may also serve as a food source for the crab, although this behavior is still being studied. These crabs can grow up to 6 inches long and are adapted to live in the extreme conditions of the deep sea, where temperatures can vary drastically due to the proximity of the hydrothermal vents. The Yeti crab's unique adaptations make it a great subject of study for scientists. Its ability to thrive in such a harsh and toxic environment shows the incredible adaptability of life. The very harsh waters where this Yeti crab is found took the life of people from San Telmo, who were the first ones to ever die in the icy waters of Antarctica. What happened to them? What caused their death? The first shipwreck. The San Telmo was a Spanish warship that met a grim fate during a perilous voyage in the early 19th century. You see, in 1819, the San Telmo set sail from Cadiz, Spain, as part of a Spanish naval expedition. The mission was to reassert Spanish influence in the Pacific during a time of global naval conflicts. The ship was commanded by Captain Rosendo Porlier y Asteguieta. It was indeed a formidable ship, which was armed with 74 cannons and carrying a crew of around 644 men. The ship was destined for the Pacific coast of South America, but then something unexpected happened. The fleet approached Cape Horn. It is one of the most treacherous maritime routes in the world. As soon as the ship reached there, the weather deteriorated drastically. Fierce storms and icy winds battered the ships, and the San Telmo became separated from the rest of the fleet. The relentless weather conditions took their toll, and the San Telmo was eventually driven south, far off course. Historical records indicate that the last sighting of the San Telmo was near the South Shetland Islands, just off the coast of Antarctica. It is believed that the ship was caught in the ice and ultimately sank, taking with it the entire crew. This would make the San Telmo the first known shipwreck in Antarctic waters. The exact fate of the crew remains a mystery, but several theories have been proposed. One theory suggests that some of the crew members may have made it to shore, only to succumb to the extreme cold, lack of food, and harsh environmental conditions. The incredibly low temperatures, combined with the isolation and lack of resources, would have made survival nearly impossible. Another theory suggests that the crew might have tried to survive on the floating ice or makeshift rafts. However, the chances of enduring the severe Antarctic climate without proper supplies or shelter would have been incredibly slim. Over the years, various expeditions have searched for the remains of the San Telmo and its crew. In the 1960s and 1970s, several expeditions to the South Shetland Islands reported finding remnants of what could be the San Telmo. However, there has been no conclusive evidence that can prove the ship's final resting place. Artifacts, such as wooden planks and metal fittings, have been found, but none have definitely been linked to the ill-fated Spanish ship. While trying to find the remains of San Telmo, researchers found something far more fascinating. They found some lost photographic negatives in the region. Who left them there? And what was pictured in those forgotten images? The lost photographic negatives. Arnold Spencer Smith was a photographer and chaplain who joined Sir Ernest Shackleton's Imperial Transantarctic Expedition in 1914. His task was to document the journey through photographs. He was ordered to capture the harsh beauty of Antarctica and the daily lives of the explorers. But you know how the expedition ended. right? Spencer Smith, along with the rest of the crew, faced many challenges. Tragically, Spencer Smith fell ill and died in March 1916. Despite the hardships, he managed to take numerous photographs. He documented the harrowing and historic expedition. For decades, the photographic negatives taken by Spencer Smith were thought to be lost to history. However, in 2013, a remarkable discovery was made. A team from the New Zealand Antarctic Heritage Trust was working to conserve artifacts from Shackleton's 1914 to 1917 Ross Sea Party expedition when they stumbled upon a small box of negatives hidden in a hut at Cape Evans. The negatives were in a fragile state. Of course, they were encased in ice for nearly a century. Conservators carefully thawed and restored the images, and what they found was haunting. These images perfectly captured the lives of the men who endured one of the most famous Antarctic expeditions and then lost their beloved vessel. These pictures preserved their memories forever. Antarctica is huge and mostly unexplored. Even after decades of exploration, there are many secrets still hidden under the ice. We will keep finding strange and amazing things. If you want more mysteries uncovered, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we have got a lot more of this. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.